All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day morning. May the Lord bless you all. I do pray every single person watching today is very blessed in multiple ways as Bitcoin. What is happening? As the title of the video says, what is happening right now? Well, we're going to be talking about it today, guys. We're going to be talking about it today. We're going to be talking about exactly what is happening with Bitcoin, the move down we've had, the move up we've had, the bounce that we're getting. All right, make sure to smash up the likes because, well, as usual, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. Major shout out to I Show You. Shout out to Blue Mountain Fire. Shout out to Peter Thor. Shout out to Cookie Sunny Z. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Gen Z Crypto. Shout out to Bjorn Eric. God bless you, Bjorn. Major shout out to Crypto Coons holding it down with the wrench in the chat. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. Shout out to Jackson Crawford and Mr. K. Shout out to Rexful GG. Shout out to Driftman. OMG, it's starting. Be quiet. Shout out to Pegless. Shout out to Nirmal Makwibitz and John Blake. Shout out to Adipa Iduwara. They're talking about exchanging WhatsApp numbers. Sounds a little shady. But hey, man, y'all got to do what y'all got to do. Shout out to Ankit. Shout out to Leviathan. If we go to 180,000, if we go to 18,000, I will long with ADX. Yeah, I mean, sounds like a good plan, to be honest with you. Shout out to Zenius. Let's go. Dump Bitcoin to $20.00. And in the United States, this means $20. You know, I know in other places, y'all guys use your periods as your commas, and your commas as your periods, and apostrophes as your commas, and all this weird stuff. All right. Bear market loading, says Zenius. All right, let's discuss this Bitcoin price action. We're going to come over to our chart here. These are the two trades we're looking for on Monday. On Monday in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, we were looking for the short trade from taking the high at 125.885 with some bear divs. And we were a little interested in a bounce from value area low, but more so, we were looking for that key support, 120.3 to 121.5. We take a look at the chart here, and we dip right into that box, bouncing from the 786, filling those single prints. This is where we have actually gotten our bounce from. All right. Now, in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, I did let everybody know that I was short. All right. Started out as a little scalp for me, but then when we actually started to print this red dot on Market Cipher B with the bearish divergence, for me, it's like, this looks like we're going to get a little bit more of a move to the downside, at least to the bottom of the local range. All right, at least to the bottom of the local range around this area, 122, but potentially even more down to the bottom of these lows, which is where we currently have come to. All right, we have currently come down to the bottom of these lows here. And this right now potentially is building for us a bit of a sideways range here. Okay, a bit of a sideways range. Now, let's go to good old-fashioned fresh chart. A good old-fashioned fresh chart here. We're going to go to the daily. All right, we're going to just inspectigate this. Now, let's keep in mind here, that we are still, like at the end of the day here, we are still trading within this sideways range where we have the support resistance flip going back to November 2024 last year, and then we have our highs coming in at about, well, $124,000. And, you know, I've been saying this for a while, and again, I'm not trying to be the bear or a bad news here, but I've been saying I'm pretty sure that the top is in the macro sense. I'm not talking about the exact high price, but I do feel that we're in for a significant pullback soon within the next few months on Bitcoin. All right. And even when we were down here, I'm saying, yeah, I think the top could very well be in, but that doesn't exclude taking the highs again. That doesn't exclude trading this range for a little bit before the dump. Why? Because if we go to the monthly time frame, right, we zoom out here, And even if we zigzag a lot, and as day traders, it feels like for you know, we're going up and down. Oh my goodness, Bitcoin's all over the place. But then we zoom out on the monthly time frame and we say, oh, you know what? The top was in here. Even though as day traders on the 5-minute, we're going up, we're going down, we're long, we're short. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. But when you zoom out, it's really not that crazy, right? So I do feel that the end is near. And the reason why I feel this, all right, I'll just be honest, is because we have the bear divs on the monthly. We have the 2-month red dot about to print. If we go to Coinbase here, or all-time index here, that 2-month looks like it's about to print, right? We go to the weekly, and, you know, all things considered here, ooh, this is interesting. This is interesting. But this next momentum wave that prints to the red is going to have now a 4th drive of bearish divergence. And we are going to be seeing the money flow lower over time. We come down to our daily, and the money flow is consistently coming out here, right? The bearish divergence, and when we look at our daily, we have just printed another bearish divergence confirmed. Now, am I saying that the top is in right now? No. What I'm saying is this: every push we get to the upside that's happening lately, especially lately, right? The last 3 all-time highs for Bitcoin, all right? We had one here in July. We had one here in August. We have one here in October. Every single new high is just a little bit higher. Just a little bit. Like, it's strange when we consider how when we broke out of these previous ranges in the bull market, right? When we broke out of pretty much every other range here, like for example, when we broke this range back here, I mean, the follow through was immense. Boom, powerful stuff, right? When we broke out of the range back here in January 2024, boom, immense, powerful push to the upside. October 2023, we broke the range, boom, immense and powerful, right? This time is a little bit different. We break the range, and guess what? A little, and then a back test. And then a little bit more right here, you know, back test, a little bit more. And every time we go up a little bit more, it takes us really long time to get there, and the oscillator's printing lower highs and lower money flow. It makes me cautious. Let's just put it that way. Also, if the 4-year cycle is intact, which I know there's good arguments on both sides, all right? If the 4-year cycle is intact, this is the time, October, November, December, January, where that all-time high of the actual cycle is going to be put in here, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is ultra bearish yet. We haven't had any major shifts of market structure. If anything, this in and of itself is bullish in the sense that, you know, we formed a really nice low here. We made a high, we made a higher low, now we've made a higher high. Okay, so there's no reason to say we're not going to continue on with this, and this whole entire structure here is going to be a nice rounded bottom structure, basically the opposite of this, right? And then we get the big move. Okay, there's nothing to say this can't happen yet. In fact, I hope it does happen. I hope Bitcoin goes to 200,000. I hope it goes to 500,000. I hope it goes to 1 million. I hope it goes to 1 million smackaroonie and quesos. But here's the thing. Let's clear this off and just look at this, all right? Now, again, I'm still long, but I'm just trying to be objective here. We've got ourselves right now our sideways range, okay? What we have done is we have come up, we have taken the high, we have closed now a daily candle below that previous high. All right, yesterday's candle, Tuesday, October 7th, we closed a bearish candle below that high. So in general, this does look like a pretty decent high that we've made here. And when we take a look at Market Cipher B, what do we see? As the price is coming up to key resistance, the oscillator is getting lower. The money flow is coming out here, right? If we take it from this first high in January to now, the money flow is in fact getting lower over time, all right? So we've come up to key resistance. We asked that hot resistance out on a date. Hey, resistance, you want to go out with us? Maybe be my girlfriend. She gave us the hand, she gave us the face. And although we had high hopes of making lots of money off of our Bencoin holdings, and we even got matching tattoos on the neck and the hand, turns out that, well, the Bitcoin price had different thoughts. You can see here, this is a graph of my emotions after I asked out the woman of my dreams. And here's the thing, we all know why she wouldn't date me, right? It's because I was too nice. Here's the thing, girls, they don't like nice guys. They like jerks. Why? We don't know. It's weird, you know? They like jerks, and then they complain that there's no good guys out there. I don't know either, right? But look, the jerk that she was into was this guy here, Sam Bankman-Fried. And we all know Sam Bankman-Fried, the thing that really attracted her the most was his uneven man boobs, especially when he would hang upside down from the ceiling. And if we take a look at our chart right now, we are in fact seeing the upside down man boob pattern here, right? We got the left big boob and then the right small boob as we're rejecting from the key resistance, okay? So let's pull the volume profile here and let's take it step by step, all right? No need to go crazy right now, all right? There's no need to go crazy. Jason, relax. There's no need to go crazy. Jason, calm down. Jason, why are you so crazy, Jason? Relax, relax, relax. Come on, man. No need to go crazy over here. Here's the reality of the situation. So long as we are holding above the value area high of this range, I'd say that's pretty good. Really, we want to hold above 124,550 for more upside. We couldn't do that. Okay, we could not do that. But we have to think of it this way. If this is our volume profile, if this is our fair value zone for Bitcoin, where basically since July, the fair price of Bitcoin has been between the prices of 112,000 and 120,000, that means just like what happened down here, right? If we can come back above the bottom of the fair value zone, we expect to move to the POC at least, and then we expect to move to the value area high. All right. Same over here. We came above the fair value zone. I was very bullish. I made many videos on my YouTube channel. Actually, let's turn this music off because I think that's going to give me a copyright strike. It's probably going to give me a copyright strike. But if you come over to my YouTube channel here, all last week, what were we doing here? We were making quick, short videos, very short videos, like 3-minute videos, literally, talking about how we're most likely going to now come up to $120,000 because we closed the candle above this area. All right, so we were talking about how the probabilities are highest that because we've come above the fair value zone, right? We look for a pump, a little bit of a pullback, a backtest, and then we look for 120, and then obviously we look for that new all-time high. The same is true in reverse right now. If we lose this level, then we look for basically something like the opposite, where we come back down to the bottom of the fair value zone, right? So as long as we're holding above that fair value zone, everything's all good. But these fair value zones, they tend to fill once you come back inside. They're a very, very powerful tool for trading. And if you want to learn how to trade for free, check out the Jason Casper YouTube channel, all right? He has, on his channel, I talk about him in the third person, of course. He has 18 sessions of how to trade for free. Wow. Amazing. Would you look at that? Free day trading course. Can you believe it? Totally free on the internet? Yeah, man. Free on the internet. That's crazy. All right. Also, guys, if you want to trade Bitcoin and altcoins, first of all, I'm trading on KCEX. Lowest fees, 0% limit order fees, 0.01% market order fees. The juiciest fees in the world. All right. Also, WEEX. I'm trading on WEEX, another great exchange that's currently offering a 50% futures bonus. Boost your first 100 USDT deposit. This is good until the 14th of October. So we've got 12 days. Starting today. No, not 12 days. We've got 6 days. Starting today. Today's not the 1st. It's the 8th. It's not the 2nd. It's the 8th. I thought it was October 2nd. All right. Check it out. Use the link in the description for this juicy. I mean, look at that picture they even made. Look at the Photoshop AI, Photoshop skills over at WEEX. All right. Got to give them a shout for that. All right. Link in the description, and good old KCEX as well. Okay. So, holding above this is bullish. And of course, where are we bouncing from right now? Where are we bouncing from right now? We are bouncing from a key support. All right. We take a look at the chart here. The setup given in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Key support. Look for a bounce from this area. Of course, I was not trading yesterday because Well, it was a holiday, guys, and I was at church services, religious services all day. Now, you know, the short trade from the top that we gave in advance in the Casper crew at jasoncaspertrading.com, I did take that. I let everybody know I've decided to short because of the CDW and the 1 hour market cipher B, as we're losing that key level there. But the long trade also, we gave it from key support. Look, it says this, key support. You know, when I give my charts in the VIP Discord, key support, this is key. Look for long. We come down to key support, look for long. We get the bounce from key support, look for long. Wow. Okay, so this is a good first sign here, because if we zoom into our lower time frame on the 1 hour and take a look at what's happened, we came down to key support, look for long. And this key support, I would say this, guys. Remember, the key support is still, we dipped into it. So we're if we get another move to the downside here, we dipped into key support. It comes down to the value area high back test of this range, right? So it comes down to around $120,000. It's a zone, right? It's a zone. And so here's what we really need to be aware of. This $120,000 level, let's say we get a market open today and we come down again because we're back testing and rejecting from, you know, this support resistance flip that we have right here, and we get another lower low. What do we need to be aware of if we get another lower low? We need to be aware of this. Now, here's the thing. I used to be into like skinny girls, right? I used to have that taste. Skinny girls, you know what I'm saying? Flat-bottomed girls, you know? But now I've changed my taste, okay? Now I like the thick, right? But here's the thing. Not only do I like thick, but I hate symmetry. I hate symmetry. Most people are attracted to symmetry. Your boy Jason Casper, he doesn't like symmetry, all right? I like asymmetry, all right? And so if we take a look at the gluteus maximi of this specimen, we can see the left cheek is very large, but the right cheek, not so much, all right? Now you might say, Jason, what does this have to do with trading? Well, I'm so glad you asked. If we take these cheeks, right, and we place them onto the chart, all right, and we stretch them out a little bit here, all right? Remember, people say it's bad to stretch before your workout, but I always find stretching the glutes before a good squat session helps me activate them better. All right, I stretch my hip flexors, my ankles, and my glutes before I squat heavy, and it helps me a lot. So you guys do stretch the glutes, guys, okay? If we come down to this box again, and we're seeing now the bullish divergence, the opposite of the bearish Sam Bankman-Fried man boob pattern, this is now the coveted bullish uneven butt cheek pattern, okay? Then we could say, aha, look, we're coming down to key support. We're getting bullish divergences, aka the uneven butt cheek pattern. And then this whole thing is a breakout, a back test, and then we can continue up, all right? So there is good news here, which is we haven't lost $120,000 key value area high. And there's a chance now, because based on our 1 hour oscillator here, you know, I mean, the 1 hour oscillator up here, when we look at this whole entire structure up, right? This whole time we're seeing the money flow come out, right? With this whole time we're seeing Sam Bankman-Fried, you know, the man boob pattern this whole time, right? And so now, if you look, we're starting to see that reverse. We're starting to see now the momentum come back up, the money flow dip into the purple, come back up. So another drive to the downside is now going to have the reverse bottom signal of this top signal up here, right? So that's what we need to be aware of. Now, what if we don't see that? What if we see across the board the momentum continuing to get lower here? Then we need to be aware that we will probably get a move down to around 117 for the key support resistance flip at the point of control of the range. And then if we lose that, we do need to be prepared for probably what will happen is bear flag from here. If we're not going to bounce, bear flag, and then we come back down to this next zone of support here. Really, our next zone of support, I would say, is going to be, we have this little chunk of volume right here So around $14,000, we have this high volume node, this support resistance flip, and that is really going to be a zone taking us down towards the value area low of our range. All right. Also, if we go ahead and we take our Fibonacci golden pocket pull from the low to the high, you can see that our 786 is coming in right at that value area low as well. And if we go ahead and put on our 618, wow, the 618 is coming in right around 114 as well. So it's pretty obvious that 120 is very key. We obviously need to be looking for a bounce from here. As we said in the VIP Discord, key support, look for long. But if we lose that, then 117, very important support. And then the 112 to 114 zone is going to be our next crucial support back down at the bottom of the range, right? And we're simply just trading the sideways range from the low to the high to the low to the high. And look, if we lose 112, then I would have to assume we're going for the low at 107. All right. Then we're probably going for that low at 107. It would be a very bearish, weak look to not hold this support right now. All right. We've got the golden pocket. We've got the value area low, the 786. If we want this bullish market structure to continue, this rounded bottom to continue, well, we need to form the rounded bottom, right? We need to bounce from that key support. We cannot lose that. All right. So if I was a trader right now, if I was, you know, all us YouTubers, we fake everything. Everything's fake. Demo accounts, fake money, fake treadmill, fake chart. This isn't even a live chart. This is all fake, right? Oh, I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry. When I signed up to be a crypto YouTuber, they told me not to tell anybody it was fake. They also told me to only be bullish, and if I'm ever bearish, my handlers come and they take me in, and I come out the mental institution with blonde hair, and my MK Ultra has been reset and all that stuff. It's weird. I'm not supposed to talk about that either. But what I am supposed to talk about is... Wait a second. What am I supposed to talk about? Yeah, I don't even remember now. It's crazy how that MK Ultra works. Right? It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So, that's pretty much the long and the short with the Bitcoin. Right now, the 4-hour has just confirmed a juicy green dot here. This green dot does have the real potential to push us up higher. So let's see what happens as New York opens. Let's do some low time frame analysis here. We're going to go to the 1 hour. Good news, we're above the POC of the range. All right. So, yeah, so look, if the bottom is in here, this is going to be our higher low. Coming back down to this very beautiful confluence between 121.2 and 121.6. Right? If you're looking for a higher low, if you're convinced that the low is in here, 121.2 to 121.6 is going to be your zone. All right? If you're not convinced that the low is in, this is going to be our area right here, okay? We're basically going to be looking for this little sideways range to form. We're going to look for the liquidity grab, the stop hunt of the people who longed early, and then we're going to look to take that back up to the highs. All right. Now, what about shorting? Well, if you're convinced that the high is in, let's take a look here. We're going to go ahead and pull our fib from the high to the low, and I would say that it's pretty clear that, you know, a back test of 124K, the value area high of the range, that's pretty much going to be our zone. We could even look at the support resistance flip at 123.4 to 124K. So I would have a box on the chart here, and this would be the area, if the high is in, to look for a short of a lower high, right? Because, you know, you could locally look at this and say, aha, we made our high, and this was our previous higher low, so now we made a lower low. So now we'd look for a lower high up into this area, and then look to take it back down. All right, that's going to be the Fibonacci golden pocket. In fact, that was the play that we had yesterday. Remember, yesterday, the market opens bullish. People got trapped here. Really what happened was, if we take our Fibonacci from the high to the low, we rejected right from the golden pocket, the 618 Fibonacci. We pump right up into that, and then boom, we get thrown down. We get pummeled down. Just like, you know, what happens to me whenever I try and ask out a girl on the date. It's a really sad situation, guys. I don't think I'll ever have a girlfriend in my life. I'm so shy around girls, too. I can't even make eye contact with them. I cannot even make eye contact with them. It's a really sad situation. So if any of you guys know how to help with that, let me know, please. All right, let me know, please. But yeah, so that is pretty much where we're at with the Bitcoin. So long as we're above 120, more upside definitely possible. And right now, this is our sideways range to trade. Let's take a look at the order flow here. All right. Take a look at the order flow here. Wow. Okay, so guys, we are building. Are we building bullish CBD here? Locally, we are, yes. Within this little chunk of consolidation here, we are building bullish CBD. We're seeing the open interest increase, but we're seeing shorts opening up here. So we're seeing a lot of shorts opening up in this little bull flag, but in general, the shorts are unable. They are unable to push the price down. So locally here within this thing, we are seeing some bullishness. The CVD itself from the low to our current position is getting lower, which is bullish, but the open interest is pretty flat. All right, the open interest itself is pretty flat. So we're not seeing lots of absorption happening here. Of course, this is aggravated CVD. I wonder if I can put it only on Bybit inverse perpetual and see what that looks like here, because I'm curious to see what the Bybit looks like. Yeah, so actually Bybit is showing bullish CVD here. All right, from this low here to our current position, we are seeing bullish absorption happening on Bybit. And Bybit, I actually do trust the order flow. So yeah, there actually is a pretty good case to be made here that we make a higher low, that we come down locally here and bounce from the back test of our POC / value area low / we go ahead, pull our fib from the low to the high, you know, our Fibonacci golden pocket and our 786. All right. You know, when you're seeing bullish CVD like that, that's going to be able to, if you see a bounce from this area, that's going to get you into a good kind of long trade, especially when you have a nice big bottom here on Market Cypher B. Now, ideally, we would want to see a nicer looking bottom here on Market Cypher B. So I'm a little bit suspicious about this low, just because typically speaking, a real nice low on Market Cypher B is going to have that money flow coming up along with the momentum waves, which we don't have. All right, so let's see what happens. New York is going to open in about 40 minutes, actually 38 minutes to be exact. And, you know, New York loves to give the old false move, right? Yesterday, New York opens, we get this big pump, right? This happened. Did this happen after or before New York opened? I don't know, because I wasn't at the chart yesterday. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a false move and then the reversal. So if New York opens and immediately we're bearish, if we are looking at the order flow chart and we're seeing more and more shorts opening up, increase of open interest, decrease of CVD, and we're coming down into the, let's see here. Where's our, yeah. We're coming down into the Fibonacci golden pocket, which is right here, the 618. So, you know, honestly, there's a pretty big zone we could be looking for here, but in general, I'd say that this would be my area of main interest, right? This box down here, come down into the box, and we're seeing lots of shorts open, and the shorts are unable to push the price below these lows, and we're seeing a bounce from this box. Could be a nice move back up to around the at least $124,000, which in and of itself is a great day trade, right? In and of itself, we're talking about a 3-to-1 risk reward, depending on our entry here. Could be between a 3 and a 4 risk to reward, just as a day trade right here. And of course, if we do take out the highs, we're talking much more than that, right? We're talking much more than that. So it's quite interesting stuff right now on the chart. We've got to give a major shout out to everybody in the house. All right, let's see how the short trades is going. I've already locked in about $2,000 on the short trade here. The short trade that the setup was given in advance in the Casper crew, taking out 125, 855.5 with the bear divs. I did let everybody know when I decided to take that short trade in the Casper crew. And of course, we are currently bouncing from the long setup that we gave in the Casper crew. From key support, look for the long between 120 and 121. All right, that's currently where we're bouncing right now. You can see that gave for a nice bounce right there. All right. By the way, if you want to join the Casper crew, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com, click the link to join the best community in the world, where we do give our TA every day, multiple times a day, with the 3 instructors. We tell people if we've decided to take a trade or not. It's not a signal. We're just letting you know what we're doing. Also, guys, got to remind you that KCEX has the lowest fees, period. All right. I love trading on KCEX, and WEEX right now has an amazing 50% futures bonus promotion going on right now. So I've got my 2 positions open right now on WEEX, and I've got it open on KCEX. The trade setups given in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. All right. Yeah, so very interesting developments as New York is about to open in about half an hour. Let's go ahead and see who we got in the chat here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure to smash up the likes. We only have 300 likes. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Shout out to Crypto Coons. Shout out to Crypto Coons. Shout out to Asan Wake Eye. Tomorrow is the first day after a big Chinese holiday. Could see some volatility. Interesting. I didn't know. Shout out to best looking crypto guy ever. Love that title. Aggravated CBD. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I've been messing with the aggravated CBD, ha ha ha, lately, but typically I do like to use the Bybit, all right? Wear sunglasses to boost confidence, that's what's up. Lauren says, you've got kids, Jason, MK Ultra got your brain fried. You know, it'll do that, you know what I'm saying? It'll do that. Shout out to Joe Potter, my man. God bless you, bro. Long and strong still, Joe Potter? Have you taken any profits? I don't know. Joe Potter, are you a profit taker or are you like a long-term hodler? I actually don't even know. Shout out to Remy. Shout out to Saeed. Shaving down the rabbit hole conspiracy stuff. Oh man. There's no hope for me. I'm stuck down that hole, man. You know, that rabbit hole, you know, you go in, you think it's just one tunnel, but then there's like 7 different roads you could take, you know? And inside of each of those 7, another 7. You know, there's just so much information out there that you'll never learn anything. You'll never learn anything. It's by design too. You'll never learn anything. You'll just waste all your time sounding like a crazy person. Shout out to Jesse. He says, "Wow, I'm laughing my ASS off." He has a donkey and he's laughing his donkey off, man. He's got a donkey on his back. Would you ever try and laugh with a donkey on your back? It falls right off. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. He says 114 looks like an amazing setup. It really does. Chinese holiday would have been 8 hours ago. All right. Love from Pakistan. Shout out to Hasnain from Pakistan. Shout out to Crypto Ralph. Shout out to Fred Sloan. Shout out to Preparing for War. He says, I swear Trading Rumors has been more reliable than my TA. It's been a tough last month or so. You know, what's my take on Bitcoin Bitcoin dominance? We can take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Shout out to Lasers Go Pew Pew. And Perry, how am I? You know, I'm pretty good right now. You know, what can I say? Pretty good right now. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Yeshua, for your goodness and your mercy and your grace. The Lord, He gives me things I don't deserve. He doesn't give me the things I do deserve. I'm just in awe at His goodness. I'm thinking 114 with a little wick to 109. Wow, that's a big wick. A little wick, bro? That is not a little wick. That's a large wick. That's what they call an LW, man. That is okay. So he's talking 114 with a wick to 109. Let's just hypothetical this for a second here. Wick to 109. I mean, you know what? I can see why you say that, because we do have the CME gap down there, right? At like 109.7. That has yet to fill. That would be crazy if we wick down to this high volume node at around 109. Man, that would be wild. That would be wild, bro. 114 with a quick wick down to 109. Let's just look at this setup, bro. Let's just think about this for a second. 114 with a wick down to 109. All right, this is going to be, to the downside, a 4.3% zone. So If this is if you're swing trading this, man, you got to make sure you got that low leverage and that low position size, and then hopefully we come down to 109, you get filled, you know. But I would assume you wouldn't be trying for one shot here. Assuming a $130,000 Bitcoin, you know, let's say we get our wick to 109, whoo, that would be the juiciest. You know, that would be a really juicy trade setup. You know, we put the stop just below these lows here. Even with the stop below those lows, 1.5% stop, that's giving us a really good 12 to 1. Assuming we don't take the lows and we bounce from that high volume node here, we're talking like a 16 to 1 risk reward if we come to 130. Even to the value area high of this range here, just trading the sideways range, we're talking an 8 to 1. But this is a pretty big zone to be looking for that bounce. But yeah, we do have the CME gap down there that didn't ever get filled. And I was hoping it would get filled as well. But let's check it out here. The CME chart. Where is that gap? Oh man. Wow, would you look at that? Yeah, 109.955, give or take. Down here we've got this big old gap that would be filled right here. You see that big gap? Man, people were waiting for that gap, you know. That would be wild, bro. You know, that would be wild. Let's be honest. That would be pretty crazy. Let's check out the order flow quick again here. All right, look, we're building a little bit of bullish CVD here, half an hour before New York opens. I'd say best case for a long would be a dip into the box with more bullish CVD. Seeing a bounce from that box, giving us a valid setup here. Of course, there's nothing to say we can't just do whatever, because the price can do whatever. You know, price does whatever she wants. The price does whatever she wants. The price can do whatever she wants. All right. But we have to do our best to be ahead of the curve and wonder, what is she gonna do? What is she gonna do? It's like playing rock, paper, scissors, right? It's a little bit of trying to predict what the other opponent's going to do. Are they going to do a rock? Are they going to do a scissor? Are they going to do a paper? Are they going to do a shoot? They're going to just shoot you? Then they win anyway, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? We got to give a major shout out to Holden Astrachan. Do you think we get an alt season? Can you look at AVAX? Do I think we get an alt season? I hope we get an alt season, man. And look, as long as Bitcoin's ranging here, it's very possible to see an alt season. Yeah, we can take a look at AVAX quick here. All right. AVAX, the 24-minute, we just got a big dump. Look, I'm just going to say what I've been saying about AVAX. All right. This is my current plan. Now, don't get me wrong. I am in AVAX. I am in AVAX from lower. Okay. And I've been talking about the amazing opportunity for AVAX basically dipping below this level, going all the way back to the spring and the summer. I've been talking about how amazing it is on AVAX right now. Even now, all right, let's say you get into AVAX now. If we hit an all-time high, if we hit the previous high, an equal high, 7 times more upside than downside here. All right, just look at this. You know, on log scale, it doesn't look that great. Now, even if we move it below the low, it's still 5 times more upside than downside. I know it doesn't look good on log scale, but if we put it on linear, even if the AVAX price comes down to $8, the upside at 150, that's 5.7 times more potential upside than downside. I think, given the context of bullish divergences on the weekly, given the context of bouncing from key support on the weekly, given the context of bullish market structure on the weekly, I would say that this is a more probable scenario than coming back down to take that low, all right? So I personally do hold a lot of AVAX, and I personally look at this as a bullish chart. Our monthly time frame here has just confirmed a green dot back in August, all right? Our 2-month, we don't have enough data here, but the 2-month is about to confirm as well. If we go to like Binance or something, this is Bybit. Our 2-week money flow crossing from the purple into the blue, all right? We have a very nice looking, in my opinion, nice little hidden bullish divergence right here on our 2-week. We have regular bullish divergences here on our weekly. We have the money flow crossing. We are bouncing and holding key support. I think once we can hold above $30, we're going to come up to the trend line. Once we break the trend line, it's going to be a very easy trip to a new all-time high. All right, a very easy trip to an all-time high. A new all-time high. Yeah, I hope for a real altcoin season 2, J-Boy Bullish. Bullish on Parade did a lot of drugs in the 90s. Thankfully, I didn't do drugs in the 90s. I didn't do drugs at all. I didn't do any drugs until 2009. It's the first time I ever took a toke of marijuana was in 2009. If I was entering fresh long in AVAX, where would I put my stop? So I don't think I would be entering a fresh leverage trade on AVAX right now. But if I was entering a swing trade on AVAX, the conservative place is obviously under the low. A more still conservative place, but a little bit more liberal, is, you know, kind of conservative, but a little bit more liberal. Would be under this area. And then, you know, super liberal, I'd say, would be below the POC. You know, that'd be super liberal. You know? Alright. Guys, make sure to smash the likes. Guys, I'm going to head out because we are going to be doing a VIP live stream in the Casper crew right now where we're going over our exact trade setup and plan for the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. Make sure to share this stream on MySpace. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.